Greetings.
Peace. Welcome back, Sentient Beings. This is part 2 of the video because I paused it.
Hello and
Because
greetings.
we met a neighbor.
Yes.
We met a stranger who is now a neighbor. Because really, that's all a stranger is, someone that you're unfamiliar with. But you should be familiar with the people
he
around
was very
you.
kind.
Yes, and he is, and he's awesome. And that just turned into a wonderful conversation. I mean, it was reflecting the adventure that we went on yesterday. Even the shirt he says he's wearing says adventure. In fact, there's a lot of synchronicity happening right now, even in the name of the gentleman, 44. Go ahead. We don't say his name, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Why?
Because mommy wants to be private about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why you want to be private about it? Just a name.
Well, that's a good point. But I don't want to be too give up too much information.
You don't want to elaborate too much?
Not in this particular scenario.
I get it.
That's an excellent vocab word.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yes, okay. So look, I got on the video to all things happen for a reason, and so much gratitude and all known force, and thank you. I'm very grateful for the people we meet, the experiences that we have, the life that we're living. So, and I'm very grateful that I'm aware of what's happening. I'm able to be in alignment based on my awareness. Well, people perish for the lack of knowledge. There's just so much we were talking about and living off the land, and oh man, this guy is awesome. He was in the military. Oh man, people are so amazing. But do you sit down and talk to them? No, he's matter of fact, he's the same. He was born like a year away from a year. My parents were born 1 year away from each other, and this guy's born a year away from them. So same age as my parents. So it's like he grew up in this area. So we were trying to figure out if he knows actually what the schools with my mother or my aunts, my uncle, or anything of that nature. But when just talking about how things change, just talking about society, real views and perspectives, it's beautiful. Beautiful connecting with people. Oh, and he know his sun sign. I was like, yo, let's go. Let's go. I love to tell my daughter that no, he didn't know his moon sign. A lot of people don't. That's why I do this. There's a lot of things people don't know about themselves or about life.
Right, like some of the kids I met.
That is
They only
correct.
know their sun sign.
Or some don't even know that. Or some are being told that to know that is bad or evil. But they're not being taught how to take care of their bodies. I think that's bad and evil. They're being taught to focus on things that are unnecessary and irrelevant. Or like we like to talk about superfluous. Well, you used a good word yesterday. Well, okay. If you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. I was just giving you an opportunity to showcase your brilliance. So it's all right, precious. Yes. But you are doing that in every moment anyways. That's who you are. When you're the light, you just shine, baby. Yeah. So the main point I had hopped on to say was about the heart. And the heart energy. And how the indoctrination, they tell you, oh, don't trust your heart. And I wanted to talk about how, because I was explaining to my daughter about how the delusion, the deception, and the real issue is in the perception. It's all perception. It's all perspective. Ooh, confirmation. You hear it out there. Oh, this is gorgeous. This is what we like to do. And if you don't know that you could come and connect to the earth and you're an electrical being, you can ground your feet and you can heal with nature. You could pick up these pine leaves. Or if you don't know what to do, if you got plant the seed in the earth, they don't even teach gardening in school. Just like they don't even teach cursive, but they teach things that are unnecessary. They'll talk about sex. They'll talk about drugs. It's like telling the child, don't push the red button. Don't push the red button. That red button over there is bad. So we just want to tell you that the red button over there is bad. No, we're not going to tell you about the things that you need to know. Come on. That's encouragement, because this is perpetuated in the culture in the school. This is why I go so hard with it. This is why I am emphatic about it. Because people perish for lack of knowledge. So, and govern, is to control. Mint is the mind. And the media is the fourth estate of the government. And so these things are perpetuating. The people are believing whatever they see, whatever they're being told versus believing herself. People are believing, like the indoctrination tell them, don't believe, don't trust your heart, just trust in me. See, and when you have the wrong perception, you're going to do wrong. Period. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. But how you going to prepare properly and you don't even know? That's what I was saying. People don't even comprehend it's a war. How are you going to fight and you don't know you're at war? And what are you fighting for? You're fighting for your life? What do I mean by that? People are out here choosing not to live and not wanting to live because of the energy and because they're not being taught how to live. They're being taught how to value because they're being taught how to value materialistic things and monies, papers, but they're not valuing the trees that they need to breathe, or the earth that they live on, or the land, or the body, the vessel that they have while they're on this planet that's going to eventually go back to the earth, and the energy, the essence of who you are, it still exists. It's just transmuted. You're just going to transition. That's why I say, oh, so-and-so transitioned. This is a part of life. We're ignoring these things. No, you should be preparing for it and knowing it's a real thing. No. So, the issue is the perception. And that's all this is, perspective. All this in this matrix is experience. You're going to have what you choose. You're going to get what you focus on. Well, if you're telling the children about the red button, that's what they're going to go do. They're going to go find out about or avoid or whatever else. But you're not talking about this, this, and this, and this. And all these things would be they're very nourishing for them. They're very helpful. They're very healing. And it's just a part of life. You should know how to garden. You should know how to interact with the world you live in. You should know what kind of tree this is and how it helps you medicinally. This is truth. I got me stuttering. Confirmation. This is truth. Wherever you go, them herbs are there to heal you. Wherever you go, there's a star in the sky. People may speak a different language. They may have a different culture. They may cook a dish differently. But living is still living. Connecting to the ground is still connecting to the ground. Breathing is still breathing. And all these things, these are truths. These are universal truths. And they always have been since the beginning of time. All right? That's what a truth is. Irrefutable. Undeniable. That's right. Oh, I'm so grateful. Non-knowing force is giving me clear sign. Oh, I'm so grateful. We are on our mission. Yes. So this is the illusion. If you think that, what I tell people all the time, I don't care what you call it, just connect to it. Whether you call it God, you call it source, you call it Allah, you call it Jesus, you call it the divine, the universe, all knowing force. That's what I like to call it. I don't care what you call it. We all speak a different language. It doesn't matter. It's like we're all crayons in a coloring box, and we all are different colors in the crayons, and we're all needed to create a beautiful picture. That's how I explain it to my child. Like, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. It's all needed. You don't. And that's why you have to know who you are and appreciate who you are. Because if you're a fish and you're feeling like you're not good enough and you're inadequate because you don't know how to fly, well, you're not supposed to fly. You're a fish. Or if you're a fish and you're wondering why is it so hard to breathe, because you're supposed to be in water, not in the cave, in the earth or something. This is life. It's just like gardening. Different plants need different things. Different people need different things. And people perish for lack of knowledge. Ain't that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, or we were talking about how valuing materialism. We were going in. I like to say Western culture is deaf culture. Because they're not teaching. Because of the focus. Because of the focus. And you can see it. You can see it. You recognize a tree by the fruit it bears. You see the results. People go to 13 years of public school in America and are not happy, are not successful, and are not even healthy. Come on! All knowing force be coming through. Thank you. Gratitude. This is why I do this. So back to the perception, the perspective. If you don't, you're valuing the money, but you don't value the doggone tree that you need to breathe. Huh? When you could be planting hemp. You could plant hemp and make paper. And so much more houses. You could be planting something to create the paper, the resource, versus
Like right
cutting
here.
something down to create the resource. These ancient trees. Yo, it's so deep. It's so deep. It's like you're gonna, once you cut the last tree down, then you're gonna realize you needed it to breathe. And that we're putting all the value on the things that are superficial and fraudulent. There was a time when money did not exist. And see, we were talking about just bartering. This is what the gentleman was telling us. Same thing I talk about all the time. What did he say about if you had a neighbor who did what? Cut trees down?
Yes.
And you had a different neighbor who did what?
We'll plant some stuff, and we'll trading.
That was the concept that we're talking about, trading and bartering, and how that's the most natural thing. And I know that you remember with your photographic memory. I know you remember exactly what he said, even though that's not a picture. But your memory is quite impressive. Just like you're hearing all of your senses. High senses. Very good. Confirmation. that vessel. Yes. And very intuitive. And that's your energy. You know, it's like we talk about your natal chart and how you're comprised and what planets are next to each other and how powerful that is and what houses they're in and what signs.
Yes.
And mommy's showing you, like, when you do things like, oh yeah, that's just like how you have this and that and that. That's that energy. Well, you're very intuitive of others as soon as you meet. So anyways, not to tell too much about your chart. That's part of the lessons and allow you to be able to do that for yourself. And that's the journey and discovery. But yeah, the gentleman was talking about, he said, once upon a time, and people would just, one neighbor would maybe cut wood down and the other neighbor would, I forget the example. That's why I asked my daughter. I have Mercury conjunct K2. And I learned the short-term memory. And I was like, I disagree with that. And now, since I've seen that all the time, I'm like, oh, every time I do a little short-term memory lapse, I'm like, see? Remember when you saw that knowledge it was showing you and you thought it wasn't true, but you do that. You forget things all the time. Where is your short-term memory at? Like, yo. But anyways, he was just talking about the concept of bartering and trading. And everyone having value in what they do and who they are. So whether if you're the woodmaker, if you're the person that cuts the trees down, you got just as much value as the person who sews the clothes, as the person who plants the garden. And this is common unity, and this is entrepreneurship, and this is bartering. These are the most natural things. Thank you all do it for us. And it's all perception. But if you're putting your value and placing it on things and materialistic instead of what's innate and what's natural and what's is the nature that you are, and just people, place your value on people. That's where the value is. I just said all these things, yo. Confirmation, gratitude, yo. And I was thinking about deleting my channel too. And then I saw an astrologer who was talking about the power of branding yourself. Oh, hold on. Let me give a shout out, cause I wrote on her I wrote a comment too. So gratitude, goddess. Thank you so much. And I love your channel. And I purchased your astrology class. I've been purchased it. And I didn't even finish it. Because I love your style of teaching astrology. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to purchase her class. Well, I did that back when I was able to do that. Eye of Karina TV. Yes. She's awesome. And thank you so much. Yeah, gratitude. So, valuing what you value, and you're putting the value. If we're being indoctrinated, right, and then put the value on something outside of ourselves. And say, don't trust this, trust this. Well, first of all, you don't put the value on something outside of yourself, and second of all, it's teaching you that this and that are separate. And that's the mind fuck. That's the illusion. There is no there is no separation. That's why the veil is an illusion. Come on, yo. There is no separation. So if you say, well, don't trust yourself, just trust source, just trust Jehovah, don't trust yourself, don't trust your heart. But this is how it was. And I was like, hold on. You're not about to be telling my daughter not to trust her heart. All right? I got something to say about that. And I was just taking the time to reiterate and teach the lesson to her today and why I was so emphatic about it. And I see that crow, and I saw a black cat earlier as well. And I sure did feed Ancestor Kitty last night. Fell off. I haven't been doing that as much. We don't have a cat, but we have a cat dish and cat food, so we can feed the ancestors. Let's go. So, emphatic. Oh, and your heart. They tell you in a religion is don't trust your heart. And I said, whoa, I didn't already spoke about this. When you, and they're like, it's your mind. You use your brain. I said, hold on. And that's the problem. Once again, that's the concept of trying to act like the her doesn't matter. That's why we big up the matriarchs on this channel. We wouldn't be here without any of them. We came through her room. How you disrespecting the earth that you live on? You can't plant no seed. You can't have no food without a her. You can't have no baby without a her. You don't have no nourishment without a her. Greetings! And yes, so that's part of that concept, and then not using your heart. And plus that's not balanced. You have both of them. Why would God give you a heart if God don't want you to use it? I say, if you're only thinking but have no heart, that's like a robot. That's like artificial intelligence. That's the difference between humans and robots. Robots only use the mind, only that energy, and there's no heart, there's no feeling. This is how people are living. When people only use their mind and they don't use no heart, that's deception. That's a devious energy. To only use this and not have none of this, like when you see in the cartoons or the warriors who they don't have no heart, they'll kill mercilessly, have no mercy. That's having no heart. So we always want to trust our heart, and we know in our heart is what is connected to all that is. So I don't care what you call it, just connect to it. Everyone's gonna call it something different, and just know that what is inside of you. So that's where the perception. That's the part I'm trying to say. What's outside of you is inside of you. Source is inside of you. It's not a separation. It is one and the same. That's what they don't want you to know. They're saying, well, don't trust this, trust this. That's where they tried to get you. They tried to make you think that it was two separate things. It's not. All right? So you are nature. Remember to always ask ancestors and to surely seek spirit.